Hello everyone, and welcome back to IYX Radio today. And a big happy Women's Month to all of our beautiful mothers and sisters. And may you always be honored and respected and just appreciated daily. So happy Women's Month to you, Robin.
Happy Women's Month to you. I love the video you created with Native Sisters Blossom.
Yes.
I hope everyone goes to check that out.
Mhm.
It's on your YouTube channel and it's on the Instagram
Correct.
and the
Yes.
Facebook.
Yes, just for some information there. So thanks for that. And okay, everyone, let's just welcome our beautiful special guest today, Robyn Gora, also known as a proud Bushi. Robyn is a 23-year-old activist and digital marketer. She's an entrepreneur, a mother, and a truth seeker is what I see you as. And thank you so much,
Oh,
Robyn, for sharing yourself with us today. And before we get into the questions, I just wanted to honor you and thank you for like your selfless support for IWX Africa. Me and you have just been like on some vibe, which I really appreciate. It's not always easy being the only woman, but when you know that you have, another supportive female in the space, it really, provides guidance and support. So thanks for that. And
thank you.
yeah, for me, I just wanted to say um, you are a true oxymoron. And for me, it would be a gentle force. So when I say gentle, I mean like I feel like you're very clear about who you are, your purpose, where you're going, that type of thing. And when I say a force, I mean you really super powerful, you're really brave and unafraid to be yourself, to raise your voice. And I mean, it's just amazing to see as young women. This is the type of gentle force that we need to see within a lot of our young ladies. Yeah, just to be
Yes.
ourselves. So thanks for that, Robin.
Thank you so much for
Mhm.
those kind words.
Yes, it's
I
what I
appreciate you
feel.
so
Yeah,
much.
yeah, no,
And
definitely.
I love working with you.
Good, me too, honestly. Like, yo, I need it. So,
You got it. I got you.
yes, you do. I appreciate it. So let's get into our questions. So, Robin, please just give our listeners a bit of information about you, a little bit about your upbringing, and where you are currently at right now in your waking life, in your journey. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that amazing welcome. All those kind words. So I was born and raised in Cape Town, and we moved around a lot. But eventually, we finally settled down in Strandfontein. My family had like our first home, first family home, and my oma and opa, my father's parents, were living with us at the time. And I just remember, like, I'm the youngest of the youngest.
Okay.
So I just
Okay.
remember, like, being the baby, being
Mhm.
spoiled. Like, they
Mhm.
always took my part, even though shame, I terrorized my sister, my older sister. But I have a lot of good memories that I like that I choose to remember
Yes.
from those days.
Mhm.
And one thing I remember like clearly is my opa always just being this artist. Like the walls of the house was his
Oh,
canvas, and he would
wow.
just paint like mostly greenery,
Okay.
and it was just so beautiful. Like I wish I could like just take a chunk of the wall and keep it with me forever, but we had to
Beautiful.
move.
Yeah.
Um, but at least I have a few of his paintings, and I
Okay.
keep them like in my room because
Mm.
I always want to remember that. It just brings me like a kind of peace whenever I
Course.
see his art.
Wow.
And I think that's like where I get my family is where I get my passion for art and creativity. Because both my mother and my father's side are super creative, so I think that's why I'm like really into art.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then when I was about 10 years old, my parents got divorced. and we moved.
Mm-hmm.
My parents got divorced because my father was abusive for
Oh,
a really long time.
sorry to hear that, yeah.
Um, and we moved to Joburg, and I hated it. I hated
Hmm.
Joburg.
Believe me, I
Like
get that, girl.
every single every single Cape Townian that you speak to will say that they hate Joburg. And
Mhm.
like I understand, like it's a beautiful place, like I love it now. But like I really hated it then. And it was so many
Joburg is a
changes,
Joburg. Let me
like
just say
changes
that
in my
Joburg.
family dynamic.
Yes, seriously. No, I
So
feel
many changes like within the environment, in my family. Um and I felt like alone. I felt really alone, and I was going through a lot. Like any kid would be going through the most if their parents got divorced.
especially
Any
at
kid
that
would be
age,
going
you
through the
know.
most if,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially coming from a household where there was like violence like that. Like
Yeah.
of course there's gonna be struggles with like
Mm.
mental health and stuff.
Definitely.
And it wasn't until like I was in high school that I started feeling like I belong,
Okay.
like I have a place here. Um, and like throughout, I would say like since it all went down and we moved to Joburg until high school, I struggled with depression and really intrusive like suicidal
Mm.
thoughts and
Mm.
like that type of thing. And then when I was about 16 years old, my sister encouraged me to go see a psychologist
Mm.
because
Mm.
Lord
Mm.
knows I needed it.
Yo, girl.
um,
Oh,
Shame. Like I put her through the most. I really put my family through the most. Like I've never met an angry kid, but I was an angry child,
yeah.
like a really angry child.
Mm.
And like I was just always showing rage and anger. And so I got help. I went to the psychologist. I don't really have much of a memory of like what we
Yes.
spoke about or like
Yes.
what actually went down.
What was the
But what I do
issues?
remember,
Mm.
yes, but she did diagnose me with depression, and she put me on drugs, antidepressants.
Mm.
And like that medication, it was supposed to, I mean, it was given to me to help me,
Yeah.
but instead it did the opposite. It pushed
Yeah.
me over the edge.
Yes.
And I felt like a zombie. I felt like I wasn't in control of myself. Um, and I attempted suicide at like 16.
Robyn.
And I failed, and it was the greatest failure of my life.
Mm.
um, and like after that, I decided like I'm just not gonna do pills anymore. Like I don't want this in my body. I just wanna be myself, find myself.
Right.
And after that, like I started feeling okay again. And I finished high school, and I was in a good place, like mentally and spiritually. Because I did also struggle a lot with like spirituality, because I could
Mm.
never relate
Mm.
to this Christian God.
Religious.
I just,
Mm.
I never got it. Like I just couldn't.
It
That's not
didn't
my
it didn't
thing.
provide you the solace that you were needing, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, no, not at all. And even then, I felt out of place because now everyone around me is like
In
into
this.
this, but like,
Mm.
but me.
Mm.
But then eventually, like, I found myself. I started like researching um, uh, and I just felt comfortable like in my spirituality. I didn't feel like guilty anymore because with religion, sometimes they make you feel this guilt
Yeah.
if you don't believe.
Yes.
Um, and I stopped feeling guilty. Um, and then after high school, I became a young single mom, and it was really hard,
At what
and it's
age was this?
still really
18
hard.
or 19?
Yeah, I was 18, 19. I was
Okay.
18 when I was pregnant and 19 when I became a mom.
Okay.
And like it really it pains me to know that like I've repeated the cycle of single motherhood.
I fully
But at the
understand you
same
saying that.
time, Yeah,
Mm.
because I mean, it is a cycle.
Yeah,
Because after my parents got divorced, my father wasn't like around at all.
yeah, yeah.
So like I had a
But
single mother, and then I became a single mother.
tell me, like
But
in high school, your high school years, did you were you with boys a lot? Were there a lot of like unhealthy like relationships with men, with boys? You know?
yes,
Mm,
yes,
yeah,
especially older
yeah,
guys.
yeah,
I think it had something to do with like seeking validation
yeah,
or seeking that I don't even know, but I had a really unhealthy relationship with boys.
yeah,
Um, I started having sex at a really young age.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Many of us women had. Yes.
yes, and yes, that's why like I mean, um, it's not a shock to me that I became a young mom because
You were doing the things.
I was doing the things from high school,
Yeah.
like from high school already, like in the early years.
And tell me,
But
did you have like friends that were like on the same vibe as you, like the same
no,
influence?
I was the one. I mean, I did have one friend,
Mm.
but she was like super on the down low, and I was just like, I don't care. Like I'm just gonna be myself
Uh-huh,
and
uh-huh.
do what I want to do. But she
Yeah,
was like on the down low. But
yeah,
I was like the only one.
got you.
Excuse me. I was the only one that really was curious like that out
Yeah,
of my friends.
yeah,
Um, yeah. So it does suck that I repeated the cycle of single motherhood, but at the same time, like my son was made out of love, and I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to break the rest of those
exactly.
curses and toxic cycles.
That's
And I
all.
feel like I've been doing a good job at that
Yeah,
so far. And parenthood, it's a major responsibility, but
yeah.
it's also like a major purpose. It gave me so much
It
purpose
is.
because like if I didn't have my son at such a young age, I don't think like I would actually be sitting here
It
right
kind of like
now.
ignited your movement, in a like leveling up type of a thing.
100%.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. And I know a lot of women that feel that
So
way and say that. So, I mean, I guess
yes,
it's life changing,
yes,
it's a transformational,
yes,
change. So that's beautiful.
yes. And then some people do take offense to that, like, don't say a woman's purpose is to make babies. Like, but like I found a great purpose in that, in motherhood, in parenthood.
Yeah, it's not, and I mean, we have different purposes, if that's a word. We have different purposes. We
Yes,
constantly evolving and changing, and there's different views of success and different views of like, viewing the world and feeling the world at a time.
yes,
And at that time,
yes,
and still presently, that your son is your purpose, one of your main purposes.
yes,
Um, yeah, in collaboration with all the others.
yes,
Yes.
yes. But it's definitely my main purpose,
Yeah.
and I take so much pride in that. And that's why I'm so passionate about the Proud Bushy, about IYX Radio, about IYX Africa, because what we're building is for
Mhm.
our kids, it's for our
Yes.
community, it's for the
Yeah.
next generation.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm so passionate about
No,
everything that
definitely.
we do.
Definitely. Speaking
And
of, mm, mm,
yes, so right now I'm a mother, I'm a business owner, I'm a blogger, I'm a student, and I'm a volunteer at IWX Africa.
mm.
So
Well,
that's
thank
where I'm
you.
at right now.
Thank you for sharing yourself in all those, spheres and spaces. You are much needed. You
Yes,
are much needed.
thank
Um,
you.
there was also something else that I wanted to say. I remember, I think it was on Mother's Day this year. I saw you. You spoke out on Instagram about being a young mother, and what did you say? Oh yes, you were talking about being a young mother and how you got like judged and you got so much backlash and stuff from society or the
Yes,
community around you. Can you talk a bit about that?
yes. So of course, like my family was really disappointed. Um, And then like other people outside of my family were disappointed. So my ex-boyfriends were disappointed. Like
Mm.
everyone had something to say.
Mm.
And like for me, at the time, like I was scared, I was scared. I was thinking about like all of my options. But at the same time, like I always knew that motherhood was like was going to be a part of my journey. Um, and like when I found out when I was like 6 months along. I
Mm.
wasn't showing at all. Your girl was in
Morning sickness and
denial.
stuff. Mm.
Yeah. No, I did get morning sickness. I was just in denial. I was like, this is
Mm.
not morning sickness. This is just I just feel not for no reason. um, so there was like all the judgment and like
Yeah,
shame and stuff, and that's why I decided to keep my pregnancy like really private, because I'm like, all of you guys are already judging me, and it's all this negative energy. Like I don't need more, so
yeah,
I'm not gonna tell anyone. I'm not gonna like encourage more
yeah.
negativity to come my way and my
Exactly.
son's
While,
way when
especially
like
while you like growing a life inside of you, while you have to be your healthiest, mental, physically,
yes,
emotionally. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah. No, but afterwards, like I got so much support from my mother, and
Mm.
I really couldn't have done this without her. Any of this.
Of
She's
course.
like a major support structure. And I think like because she went through single motherhood, she didn't want me to go through some of the things that she went through. So she
Yeah,
she really was there, and she's still there for me
yeah.
and my son.
Robin,
Yeah.
like, the way that you're speaking, like I'm very close with my mom, so I totally get you. And regardless of what happens in our lives, we always know we have the privilege to know that our moms are there and our support systems. But and I know a lot of people don't have that. But
Yes.
what I saw the other day, I was watching this live stream of the community, the Graceberry community rallying together at the one church to speak to the NEC. And they were talking about, the drugs and the gun violence and whatever in the community. And when I saw the mothers speaking about the loss that they just experienced from losing their sons, their daughters, their brothers, their sisters, like it hurt me so much. And I don't think that seeing a man talk about it would hit me in that way. Like our mothers are traumatized
Yes.
because they give birth to us, they birth us. You
Yes.
know what I mean? They are us. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, no, our mothers are really important. And I want to ask you, besides your mother, as a female figure in your life, you said you had sisters. What other who else, from a female perspective, do you have in your life?
There's so many women that I take inspiration from, you included.
Mhm.
um, from like just women that I've met on social media to like my partner's cousins
Mm.
and his sister and my sister. I only have one sister.
Mm.
She's like a major inspiration to me also, because she's just this badass independent woman,
Mm.
and she's taught me a lot.
Yeah.
Um, like in terms of my mother, I would
Mm.
say when she left that abusive relationship, she tried like many, many times, and eventually she finally got it right, because sometimes people don't let you leave.
It's a
So
mental cage,
eventually
it's a physical cage. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's a systematic cage also,
Yeah.
because some people have privileges,
Mm. I
that
get you. Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
So when she did leave that abusive relationship, that showed me um that no one should tolerate that, and um no one should be treated in that way. So her doing that, she didn't even have to say anything. That action itself showed me like how you should respect yourself
No.
and do what's best for yourself and your kid.
Exactly.
And she taught me like not to take shit from anyone. She's really kind and soft-hearted, and she really wants to help everyone, and she puts everyone before herself. And sometimes that's a beautiful thing, but
Mm.
other times, like, people can take advantage,
100%.
and you can end up
And that's what I see that you are.
harmed.
You're such a like a kind person, but you also like, you know,
Straight up,
straight up
straight
like,
up, don't mess with
yes,
me.
exactly, 100%. And as women, that's who we have to
Yeah.
be. We have to be,
Yes.
our kind, loving, feminine, soft selves that nurtures, that, gives love. But then you also have to be like, no, this
Yes.
is who I am. I'm powerful as well. And you're not going to like step
Yes.
on me. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, I know. And then my sister is like a major woman in my life that I that's really impacted me, because she's taken care of me like straight up since I was born. She's
Mm.
always had my back. She's always been there for me, and she taught me so much. She's taught me like how to be objective, like in any scenario. You can give her any scenario, and she'll find a way to make you understand the other person's point of view.
Yeah.
Um, and she's also like super kind-hearted, and like she always wants to help. And I feel like being surrounded by such kind-hearted women and seeing how people take advantage of that, I think maybe that's why I'm so like, don't mess with me, like I'm not even
Yeah,
gonna give you a chance to take advantage
exactly.
of me.
See the value in what
um
I'm giving type of a thing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
yes. And like, she's a really, like, what she's taught me is just to think outside of the box. She's such a creative thinker and problem solver. Like, I can go to her with any problem and she'll help me figure it out.
Mm.
And she's really altered like my thought process.
Mm.
Like, at first I used to just think one way. I just used to think like, I would see things for like how they appear to be. And
Mm.
she's taught me to like just look deeper and see like the
Wow.
bigger picture.
So
So
that's
I would
maybe
say,
also like something that ignited a Cloud Bushy is like, the influence from your sister, would you say? Because I feel like
yeah,
the way that you think and the way that you like break things down is just beautiful.
thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
A Prabushi just happened, eh? Like, it happened, but we'll get
We're
to
going to
the
get there, yeah.
Prabushi
Yeah.
part. Yes. So yeah, like my mother and my sister are the main
Yeah,
women who
yeah,
like I really, really admire and
yeah.
look up to,
Ah, that's
and like a
amazing.
major part of my support structure.
Exactly. And like before we go on to the next question, when we're talking about raising a child, it takes a community to raise a child. And then
Yes.
you have your structure, you have your support system, you have your
Yes.
community. It's such a beautiful
Yes.
thing. Yeah,
I'm so lucky to have that.
that's
I'm
great.
so blessed to have
Um,
that.
That's really good.
Thank you.
So,
Yes.
um, okay, before we get into that question, I wanted to say, since it is Women's Month and since we are celebrating women, um, how do you feel as a young South African woman living in South Africa at the moment with, what we are facing there, the violence against women, the deep traumas, that exist, the lack of safety and security, how are you feeling
Yeah.
at the moment?
I don't feel safe at all. I don't feel safe. I go outside and I'm scared. I'm scared for myself. I'm scared for our women. I'm scared for our children. Um, like, like a simple thing, like a person coming down the road offering, like selling veggies and fruits
Mm,
and
mm,
whatever to the community. Like, my first thought is, but you are a man, there's no way I'm opening up for you.
yeah.
Like, I could straight up be like supporting a
Yes.
person's small business, but because you're a man, I don't feel safe, I don't trust you,
Right.
and I'm just scared. Like, I'm really scared, and I'm so disappointed and ashamed of the people. or shall I say men, the men who are running our country. Because like their words and their actions are
Yeah.
so far apart from each other, and their actions to me seem like they're enabling the femicide that's taking place, and they're
Mm.
enabling the abuse, they're
Yeah.
enabling the rapists.
Yeah.
um and like at no point, you know it's not safe to be a woman in this country, and it's not safe to come forward about what these men have done to
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Like there's no safety, there's no
Even at going to
protection.
the police, going to these organizations, it's not, oh, yeah, yeah. You're not going to get justice.
No, you don't get justice, you don't get support. And then when people take it to social media, because that's the only place where, like, like where women can seek out like help from people.
Yeah.
When women do take it to social media and they do make it known public, they get sued
Yeah.
for defamation of character from the alleged
Ah,
abuser. Like we see it so many times with these celebs.
exactly. I didn't even know about the suing. What the fudge?
I'm gonna send you the things. There's so many of these it's the celebrities that are suing um survivors for coming forward.
So, in other words, saying, yeah, it's okay to rape a woman. It's okay to, do this, do that to a woman without any consequences. My God.
Oh,
Or,
but if the woman does come forward, they can just sue them for what,
yeah,
500,000 rand, a
that's
million rand.
happened.
Everyone loves the 500,000 rand. Like in most of these cases, you'll see they're being sued for defamation, and they want either a mil or they want half a mil from the survivor, and then they still get their job back.
I don't even know what to say. I don't know. I'm shocked right now. I wanted to ask you about what could be a possible way forward for us as women. How do we speak up? How do we come together? How do we, get justice? From what do you think, Robin? What do you think could be possible solutions?
I don't know. I don't know. Because I mean, like you could say, well, if the justice system is not doing anything about it, then take it to the employer, make it known, and let the employer then um, make them face some kind of
Yeah,
consequences. But then, I mean, you'll just get sued
yeah, exactly.
and need to pay your rapist half a mil. I don't know. I don't know what needs to happen. I think like our country just needs new, different leadership. Um, I mean, did you see the other day? It breaks my heart. It breaks my soul. Um, Police Minister Becky Cele.
Yes,
You saw it.
it's okay. The one girl she was okay because she got raped by one a man, whereas with the other girl,
He said she was lucky. If it
yes,
is
she was
lucky, she
lucky.
was lucky.
And but whereas the other one got raped by 9 men. What? No, Robin. No, no. And then
We live in
we
hell
live in hell. And then you get the bill that was passed about abortion against abortion
in the
in the
US.
US. I
In
mean,
the
what?
US.
You have a say over my womb, over my body? No,
It's a
man.
straight up femicide. Like, they're trying to kill us all of
No,
us.
I'm shocked. I'm in shock. So, to the listeners out here, like, let's start a conversation. I mean, what can we do as women, young, old, all ages? How do we come together? What do we do? How do we raise our voice? Um, I don't
You
know.
know,
I don't know.
I think it's up to men. Like they're the ones that need to
Yeah.
hold each other accountable, educate each other. Like, I've seen some men with their activism, educating each other. And I think more need to do that,
Yeah.
like more
Yeah.
men need to and hold each other accountable. Like I remember being in high school and this guy groped me, and it was a friend of my boyfriend at the time. And like as soon as he did that, I turned around and I wanted to clap him because like, why are you touching
Yeah. Yeah.
my butt?
My
Like,
body.
why did you
Yes.
just grab my butt? And he's like, oh, you have such a nice ass. My guy, I tried to clap him, he ran away. Um, and then I went to my boyfriend at the time and I was like, yo, your friend just did this to me. Like, it makes me really uncomfortable. This dude didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, he just kept being friends with the guy. And I was like,
Yeah. That's where it
it's
starts.
you.
Yeah.
It's you, men.
Yeah.
It's the men who need to
Yeah.
hold their friends accountable
Accountable.
and make sure that their friends know that like you're not supposed to do certain
It's not
things.
okay. And
Yeah.
and now like looking into this, like you're saying, looking into the psychology of, it's a deep wound, it's a deep trauma, it's a deep lack of, coming from your household,
Yes.
lack of, what's the word, morals and values. We're
Yes.
not loving our sons enough to love themselves, to love women, to love the world around them. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No. It's also I think in South Africa we have a huge problem with like we don't have father figures. We don't have enough good father figures. Like I straight up I don't know a good father.
There you're a
Like
single mother. There
honestly.
you're a single mother doing your duty, doing your work, doing your love. Where's the father figure?
Yes, and you know what's crazy is that like it's the woman who are shamed for being the
Mm,
parent who stayed.
exactly.
Like I'm shamed
Yeah.
for being a single mother.
Judged. Exactly.
Um, yeah, but I do think we need father figures, and I do think our men need to step up and start holding their friends accountable and start holding their favorite celebrity accountable. Because no one wants to unfollow, no one wants to stop supporting because most you like this man's music.
And even like a friend of mine was actually telling me about like his girlfriend, went through like a situation, and then he was telling me about so many other women in his space that he knows that got raped by the uncles, by their fathers,
Yes,
things like that, family members. And like
yes,
where I'm looking into like the family structure, I'm looking into the core and the basis and the foundation. And if we're losing there, that's where everything else stems from, you know?
yes, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Um, it's a major
Robin,
issue.
aspect and a proud bushy. So Robin, tell me what ignited your like exploration and your personal journey into your indigenous roots.
Yes, it was all spiritual. Um,
Mm.
it's crazy. It was such a spiritual journey. Um, it all mainly started in 2020 where I would get these like it would come to me in like dreams and like signs and symbols and numbers that like when I do dig into it and go
Mm.
down the rabbit hole, come to find it was like dates of like important um things
Mm.
happening.
Wow.
So yes, so in 2020 I had already started my YouTube channel because I've always wanted to have one.
Create content. Mm.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, don't worry.
Got a phone call. um yeah, so I had already started my YouTube channel and I was just doing makeup because I was like, I just want to do something fun and chilled and just so I can get used to being
Yes,
in front of the camera and like
exactly.
talking. Still not used to it, but like I'm better at it now
Yes, yes,
because of
yes.
that like practice. And in 2020 is when the Colored Lives Matter movement was like really loud within our community and on social media. And there was a lot of community violence. There's still a lot of community violence, um, and it was just really loud at that time. And our people were just like, our lives matter, our children matters, like our children matter.
Help us, as well. Yes.
Yes,
Yes. Mm.
yes, yes, see us. And I noticed like a really offensive response from South Africans when whenever I would see it on social media, South Africans would just say really shitty things to our people,
Yeah.
like things like, "What even is a colored? Like you guys don't belong here.
I remember that.
We don't know why God made you." Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
I remember.
Like, why did God make you? Like, you have no place in South Africa. What. And I took like major offense to that. I'm like, and I felt like this urge to speak out, or at least um um like just do something
Exactly.
online.
Yeah.
and and so because of South Africa's response, well, that kind of response, our community started uh the hashtag colored culture. And it was really mostly funny, like memes,
Mm.
relatable TikToks and stuff. And I ended up like gathering a bunch, and I was like, people need to see this, like more people need to see this. And so I gathered a bunch of like memes and TikToks, and I started a Proud Bushy.
Mm.
And so it started off with like just posting
Oh,
memes and stuff. Yes, and like
wow.
gaining an
Okay.
audience. Yeah, just like gaining an audience like that. So I would straight up only post memes. And then as time went on, I would throw in like, um, like just opinion pieces by other
Yes.
people who have written on social media.
Yes.
I throw that in. And eventually I was like, you know what? I should just create content. Like I
I'm
feel
getting
this
life from
urge.
this. Mm.
Yes, I'm
Mm.
like, people need this. Like there's not a lot of information out there,
No.
of like on the truth, really.
Yeah.
Um,
And even like you're saying, most of it is jokey stuff and whatever, but it's not like the truth in terms of like the Colored
yes,
community and like speaking out, raising our
yes,
voice.
and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
origin,
Yes.
yeah, our roots and the
Mm.
origin, like it wasn't like portrayed in that way.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's when like I started just going into deep dive of like this research. And it was just it just felt like a really spiritual thing, because I was getting all these signs, and um like being swayed in certain
Different
directions. And
directions. Mm.
yes, and I honestly like back then in 2020, I honestly felt like my opa's presence, and I was like, okay, I got you, I got you, I'm
I
gonna do
feel
the
that. I
things.
feel that. Hmm.
Yeah. So, so that's actually like the beginning of a Proud Bushy. And then that's when I was like, you know what, I need to start gathering like actual information for our community, because no one else is doing it. No, like there's no space online for our community in that way. That's not like it's not just memes and like funny,
Exactly.
relatable things.
Yes.
Like it's real shit.
It's real shit.
Um,
And you know what I really like,
yeah.
Robin, is that, like, for example, within this indigenous movement, it's been around for a long time, but like it's been the elders, it's been the older men and women that are out there doing the work,
Yes.
but they don't have this
Yes.
understanding of social media. There's nothing to like convey information. Whereas there's so many
Yes.
youth, there's so many indigenous or urban indigenous youth out there that's like, who am I? Where am I? Like, how do I fit in? Exactly like you were saying, like
Yes.
I never fit in. And like I know that I don't know how you felt, but the types of like schools that I went to like majority white schools where there was a little bit of like black
Mm,
people. I mean, I was like one or two colored people. You know what I mean? And I was always like,
yes.
but who? Where? Like my family's there, but
Yes.
where am I? So yeah, and I
Yes.
mean, I
I
think
can relate to that.
A proud bushy really. For me, it gave me so much happiness and like inspiration, because it was a really indigenous youth relatable space,
Yes.
urban
Yes.
indigenous, and I think that was
Yes.
amazing, Robin?
You see, that's like my main purpose is I just want a space, like a digital space for our community to feel like, oh shit, I do belong. Like,
Mm,
I have a purpose. Like I'm here for this reason. Like this is why I'm here and this is my history. So, like, that is my main purpose for Prabushi, is just so
yeah,
that, the youth and the older people
yeah,
can just feel that sense of belonging.
yes,
Because that's what I really felt was lacking in the digital space. And I was
100%,
like,
100%.
I need to build something like for us,
And
by
even
us.
like with IYX Radio, like it's important that we archive these things. Like, when we go out and when we do these things, when we get this information, it needs to be placed somewhere where people can learn from it and they can go back years from
Yes,
now. And then also
yes,
like collaborations, like look at you and I, look at a Proud Bush in
yes,
IWEX Africa, that is such an
yes,
amazing thing, because we both have these beautiful networks of people. We both have,
yes.
a lot of
A
information to
common
share,
goal.
a common goal.
Yes,
And then there's
yes,
like so many young indigenous artists and creatives that's out there, and like, change makers that really need the platform and need the space to be like,
yes,
hey, this is who we are, this is what we are, like asking the questions,
yes.
getting down to the nitty gritty, so it's really amazing.
Yes, no, like I didn't even know what I was doing at the time. I was just doing what felt
Yeah.
right at the time.
Mm.
But now looking back, I'm like, this is exactly what our community needs,
Yes,
and it's just gonna grow from here.
no, definitely, Robin. Like, thank you so much
Yeah.
for starting a Proud Bushy. And I'm glad that we also got in contact when we did, and all of that. Like
Yes.
everything just happened so
It
beautifully.
happened. Yes,
Yeah,
like that's how I found you guys. That's how you guys found me. And I didn't even realize, like, well, because I remember in one of my earlier videos, I spoke about the traditional Busan Leadership Act and like the community's response
yes.
to it. I didn't even know I spoke about Q. I didn't even know like it was Q who I was speaking
Mm-hmm.
about. And then afterwards, I connected the dots and I was like, wow,
Oh
like
my
all
word.
of this is happening for a reason.
Exactly, Robin.
Yeah.
And like, um, the most amazing thing is that, um, like we out here creating our own lives, we're creating our own versions of history and of our realities, and I
Yes.
mean that for me is a very big thing. We're not following any type of trends, we're not moving according to the normal spaces. We in different spaces, we're thinking differently, we're having different conversations, and like it's amazing, it's really amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm so grateful that I started it and that I found you guys, because like
Yeah.
now it's become so much bigger.
Yeah.
Because now not only do we have a common goal, but we have a common audience, like the exact, and it's
Yeah.
for the youth.
For the youth.
Like it's for the adults also, but our main focus is the youth, so
Youth.
that they have a space,
Yeah.
you know,
To
which
gain
is what we
information,
don't really
clarity.
have.
Yeah, a way to
Yes,
express. And Q always says to me, like, oh my word, you and Robin, you guys are making history. You know what I mean? And right now, like, we're just having a conversation, we're just putting together some,
yes,
content, whatever. But at the end of the day, what we are doing is we're paving that history, we're paving a way. And
yes,
it's
yes.
fucking amazing. Let me not say it online,
It
but it's
is.
fucking amazing. So yeah.
It is.
And
Like especially like as women,
yes,
I feel like our audience definitely gains like so much draws inspiration from us because we are women and we are doing this,
and we young women,
which is
Robin, we're
amazing.
23 years old.
Young.
I'm 27 years old. You know
Thank.
what I mean?
Yes.
And like, yeah,
Yeah.
what I really admire about us in this space at this age is that we have clarity of self. You know what I mean? In order for us to like
Yes.
really move in our purpose, we have to have gone through certain things, looked into self, in order to gain that clarity so that we are clear about what we want to do, who we are, our purpose, what the impact is. So I
Yeah.
think that that's really powerful as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Super powerful.
So how do you identify Robin? Like, I mean, it's such a it's an up in the air thing for me personally. But how do you
Yes.
identify? Um,
I you know what I've noticed with people and identity? Um, I'm not out here like looking for some kind of title.
mm, mm.
I'm not trying to
Wait, Robin, you just stopped. You froze.
Okay. So I identify as just being indigenous to the Cape. I remember when I went on the podcast with Solar Kid, who's actually your cousin, am I right?
Yes, 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 yes.
Um, yes, he said to me, and I love it. I love it so much. He said to me, I look like I'm from the Cape. And that's like the biggest compliment that anyone could ever give me
I see it
because
now. I see it now.
thank you. Because I just feel so connected to the Cape, like specifically. I don't know if it's because I was just born there or because I um I was raised there and like my family's from there
Your core
and
values from, yeah, your core.
like the ocean
Yes.
and but also when I did a bit of research into my family name, my surname and um, the name that my son also carries, it does have its indigenous roots in within the Korana um, family group.
Yes, okay.
Um, I haven't dug any deeper into that because I do find like I just I don't I'm not after like a title, you know.
Fully
I'm just
understand that.
going with the flow and like you guys have the perfect label which is urban indigenous and
Yeah.
that's like how I identify.
Yes.
um yes.
Yeah.
um yeah, so that's where I'm at. I will definitely like when I'm in the Cape go further deeper down into my roots. I do know that my surname comes from my father's mother's side, no, my father's mother's side.
Okay.
um that's what I do know, but I haven't done like extra digging into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do, some people have reached out to me and they did say that the surnames Gora and Taibosh, they basically related. They were brothers or something like
Oh,
that.
okay. Okay.
So, so
It's
that's
so
that's how I
beautiful.
identify. I identify as urban indigenous.
Yes.
Um,
No, I fully get that.
yeah,
Yeah. It's so complex. It's so like
it
in a lot
is.
of ways it's dear Makar as well, because like there's so much we have been
Yeah,
stripped away so much. There's been so much that's like not, accessible. There's so much that hasn't been
no,
passed
for
down.
real.
Yeah.
Because our parents and their parents, they identify or they were forced to identify
As
with the
colors.
color
Yes.
classification.
Yes.
And that's like so many generations
So many
ago.
generations.
So, it's crazy for people to be like, go take a DNA test. Like, a DNA test is not going to place me with a tribe.
Yeah, no.
Like, it's
And I mean,
impossible.
even
Like,
if you think about
relax.
it, like even back in the day, like there was that colorism thing, like, oh, the lighter ones, the darker ones, like
Yes,
you're still trying to be this, you're still trying to be that, as our great grandparents and stuff. You know what I mean? So there was
yes,
already like within, not within self, there was already a wanting to be or identify differently, or want to be seen differently, and that's just, I guess,
yes,
human nature. You know what I mean? But
yes. And
yeah,
also, in some ways, I feel like it's also like a colonial mindset because of like, wanting to um identify with Eurocentric,
Yes.
whether it's labels or
Yeah.
beauty standards, like you mentioned, the colorism.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's a lot. Like we are
Mhm.
super colonized, like
Yeah.
super
100%.
super colonized,
Yeah.
and we're just trying to find our way back. And all I can hope is that a Proud Bushy followers and IWX Africa followers, that they also, uh, that they just start their journey
Yeah.
on like who they are and
And
where they
and
come
that's what it's
from.
about, that's what it's about. It's about just touching one person, one soul, one, individual at a time. And that's for us, that's something
Yes.
that's a big deal, you know what I mean? Be it us providing assistance on the ground or even like online. It's just touching the person in whatever way um they need,
Yes.
whatever they need. So yeah, no, I
Mm,
totally get that. I totally get that.
yeah.
So I'm looking at my questions here. Um, oh, okay. Um, so besides being the dynamic researcher that you are, and a truth seeker, you are also an entrepreneur and business owner, and you
Yes.
have your own business called or online business called Wanderlust. Please tell us
Yes.
a little bit about your product range and about how it feels to be, I put you a dope woman boss, define your own path and defying the systematics, not having to work a 9 to 5.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It's super hard. It's so hard to juggle like everything. But I'm really enjoying my business. I love like being my own boss. And so we do have hair accessories
Mhm.
for ladies. I'm wearing one right now.
Oh, nice.
Hair accessories, organic bath and body products.
Okay.
Um, and also like edible salts, and like, because my main goal is basically just to promote plant-based living
Mhm.
and a plant-based lifestyle, because
Mhm.
that's just who I am.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what we carry, and the business has been growing.
That's
I'm having
great.
lots of fun with it, and I can't wait to grow some more.
Woo! And what is your website name or where can people get you?
Yes, so it's wanderlust.co.za, and it's wanderlust as in WXNDERLUST.
Okay. Wonderful.
Wanderlust.
Dot,
Yes, dot
dot,
.co.za.
okay. And tell me,
Yes,
where did
and
mm-hmm.
it's the same handle on Instagram. So you can
Instagram?
find me on my website and on Instagram.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes.
And where did Wanderlust come from? Where did that name originate?
So I really resonate with the word wanderlust, because it basically just means like you have a strong desire to travel and explore. And I resonate with that in terms of like our forefathers were nomads, and
Yes.
always exploring
Yes.
and on the move. And so I've always resonated with it so much that I got like a tattoo that says wanderlust. It's in braille
In
though.
Braille. Oh, beautiful girl.
Yes. Yeah,
Nice.
so I've always resonated with that
Oh,
name,
I
and
resonate
so
with it so much.
yes,
Mm, mm,
yes.
mm.
So that's why I decided to name my business Wanderlust, my brand Wanderlust.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
No, I definitely
Yeah.
resonate with that because, like, living abroad, it's just been so freaking wonderful. And I knew from a young age,
Wow.
I knew from a young age, I don't want to live a normal life. I want to live nomadically. I want to live
Yes.
moving, constantly on the move. Because I'm like, I always say that I'm an Aries, myself and Q are both
Mm.
Aries. We both like high energy,
Oh.
right? So it's
Yes.
really nice to work with someone who can understand me and me understand him in that
Yes.
way. But we're constantly on the move. We're constantly needing to be expressing and giving and doing. And yeah, so I totally resonate with Wanderlust so much. And I love
Yes.
living abroad, but then also being, completely immersed in my culture as well, which is always something that will be with me,
Yes.
you know what I mean? It's never going to be a not a part of me. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, like even my friends, yeah, I know people from so many different parts of the world, and it's just so lovely to learn about their cultures and those types of things.
That's awesome.
So I totally get
That's
that.
awesome.
And tell me something, you're also into the cannabis thing, right?
Yes, 100%. I love all things cannabis.
Yes.
Hashtag legalize it.
The healing herb, the healing herb. No, that's great. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah, no, no.
Yeah, I know. One of my products also have a bit of cannabis leaves in it. Not bad, just leaves, you know. But it's kind of being restricted on Facebook, because they do have this shop option that
Yes.
you can add, like when you're building your business online. It is being restricted only because it contains cannabis. Like, I mean, it's not because drugs, basically.
Yeah,
That's what they say to me.
yeah.
Because drugs.
But it's so weird
It's
because
not a drug.
it's not a drug. It's not a drug. Here in Thailand, a month ago, it got
Yes.
legalized, like 100% legalized. So there's no laws against it. They want to be the first tropical Amsterdam. So, but like Thailand is a bit weird, but so now like people are just
How
putting
do you mean?
up on no, because like all of a sudden it was like illegal, right? Then now it's from illegal.
Yeah.
Now they haven't even worked out what the boundaries are, what are the consequences
Yeah.
of, like, what are the
Like in terms of sale or
sales, quantity, things like that.
carrying.
Now people are just like on a free fall, and now they like arresting people, but then they also the authorities are like, but at the same time, like we don't know, what is enough and what shouldn't be, and things like that. But that's just how Thailand
Yeah.
works. Like it's just weird, but it's like a free for all at the moment, and yeah, it's super
Wow.
fun, it's super funny, super fun. So yeah, yeah,
I wish if they could just
yeah. Well, at least you can
do
grow
the
for now,
things.
my love. At least you can grow for now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
most it's limited. But
Yeah.
even then, like, how can they restrict it? Because, I mean, it depends on what you're growing for. Like, maybe I want seeds. That means I'm gonna have to grow like gang if I want
Exactly.
to.
Little bit of seed. Exactly. Ah, but we'll just
So, I
have
mean,
to
it
wait
is
and
still
see.
regulated.
Yeah, yeah, no, it
And
should be.
when I was researching, I read that South Africa is the second or third largest exporter of illegal marijuana
What,
to
girl?
the
The
world.
world.
Like
Yes, we have some of the
it's
best.
one of the largest
Yeah,
dank and
yeah,
soil to
exactly,
grow.
exactly. Now we are all about, herbal healing, guys. That's what we're about.
Yes,
So yeah, just
100%.
it's a matter of understanding and doing some research into the benefits of these things, and at the end of the
Yeah.
day we got to use things in moderation. We have to, like anything in life. So
Yes.
yeah, no, that's great, Robin, that's great.
Yes.
Okay, so if you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would those words be and why?
You know, I got this question and I still couldn't answer it, but then I didn't want to say, like, don't ask me this
Yeah.
question. I don't, I mean, okay, if I'm going off the top of my head, I would say, um, um, like strong-minded, um, strong-minded because like I'm very okay, I'm very opinionated, um, and introverted,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a homebody. Like you're gonna have to beg me to go outside, honestly. Like I love being at home, love being in my own space, and just a creative. I love
Yes,
creating.
yes, yes.
That was more than 3 words.
No, that's amazing. That's who you are. That's what resonates. And yeah, No, I see the introvert you think, you're strong-minded but an introvert because you sit and you think so much about
Yes,
your opinions and what you create or what you want to create.
yes.
So that's beautiful.
Yeah, so it's all connected.
Connected. And when was the last time you went to the Western Cape to Cape Town?
You're like, I was a child probably.
Yeah.
Probably like back then, or maybe I was a teen.
You
Nah,
need to
I
get
think I
going,
was a
girl. You need to
child.
get going.
I know, like
Yeah.
I would love to like
Yeah.
go back and live there.
Mm. That's the thing, like
Yeah.
our life is a very long life, so there's different
Yes.
emotions. No, I definitely understand that.
Yeah.
Um,
No, but I haven't been there in a really long time. But my son does really want to go because,
oh, come
I'm the
man.
type to hype up Cape Town. I'm like, that's the best
Exactly.
place in the
Tell your
world.
mom, like, let's go.
The motherland.
The
Yes.
motherland,
No.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
so Robin, we have 10 more minutes left. There's just two more questions I
Whoa.
want to ask.
Yes.
What are some of your future manifestations or things that you see that you would like to happen, or that you see yourself moving in the future?
Um, for those, like I'm really manifesting just like complete independence, um, financial freedom, um, and just to grow my businesses. Like I'd love to do more, even like once I complete my studies. I just would love to do more like in the digital world, in the digital space. And I'd love to grow a Proud Bushy into like a
Mm.
freaking powerhouse.
Girl,
you
if that's
know?
where it's going, come let me tell you, that's where exactly where it's going.
Yes.
Yeah. No, no.
Yes.
I think, you don't have to work for anybody, Robin. You are dynamic. You have the skill set, you have the support, and it's going to happen.
Yes.
It's going to be amazing. So good luck in that.
Yes.
Good luck in that.
100%. Thank you so much.
No,
Like I'd
definitely.
love to build Proud Bushy into a space like because right now we're on Instagram. That's where like the main um space is. But like I don't own Instagram, and like what if Instagram shuts down tomorrow? Like I really would love for it to be a completely different space that like we own like as a community, and
So
then
in
we can
other
go
words,
on
build
and
an
just
app.
yes,
See? Yeah.
that's where we
Let's do
headed.
it. And we
Yes,
are going to do it.
indigenous
We
app.
are going to do it. We are definitely
Yes,
doing that. Yeah,
yes,
we definitely are.
yes.
It's just,
Yeah,
yeah, everything is a process. But guys, just
yeah,
like I'm saying, just keep an eye on this space. Robin and I are
yes,
talking some manifestations, yeah. So yeah, no,
yes.
I
What
feel
are your manifestations?
no, this is not about me, girl. Right now, I can't.
Okay, next interview.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
fine.
be
That's fine
interviewing
with
you.
me. I mean, the final question, Robin. What advice would you give to specifically young brown girls and women currently in the process of finding their own voices?
I would say take up space. Don't be afraid to take up space. Um, I would say find your passion, because once you find your passion, your purpose will come.
Mm,
Um, and just don't be afraid to be yourself. And if you're going to be finding your voice on the internet, like in this digital space, you're gonna need to grow some thick skin,
yeah,
honestly,
yeah, yeah,
because you can't be worried about people's opinions. Um, it's important. Like I value criticism and I value like proper like feedback and stuff,
mm,
but you can't let people's opinions
yeah.
affect you or bring you down or
Deter you.
slow you down.
Yes.
Yes, or deter you or your journey. don't be afraid to just be yourself and and speak up on like whatever you're passionate about.
You know what stands
Because
out?
the world, what stands out to you?
Like everything that you're saying, there's self-belief, belief in yourself.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Don't
And
be
it's
afraid.
hard. It's hard sometimes, but if you don't do it, who is going to? Who's gonna believe in you? Who's gonna love you if you
Exactly.
don't?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I feel you.
Yeah.
Thank
And that's
you.
one thing I've also learned, like within relationships and stuff. If you're not there for yourself, if you don't love yourself, like no one else is going to. So you have to be that person who believes in you,
Yeah.
who cheers you on, who encourages you. And I know it's hard, but when when it is super hard, then what I like to do is look at myself and just say affirmations. Like whatever you need in that moment, like I am patient, I'm strong, I love myself,
Mm.
like I deserve this, or like whatever it is.
Whatever you need.
Um,
Yeah,
yes, whatever you need to you need to give that to yourself.
that's amazing, Robin. That's amazing. Um, Something that I like am growing and healing is like um my lack of being able to regulate my emotions. So something like that. Because I'm
Oh,
a very emotional person. I'm really like, I'm not an introvert. I'm an extrovert. So everything is like an external expression. So I don't take time to
oh,
myself all the time. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I mean, like what you just said now, being calm, allowing yourself to just come back to center and then moving
Mm,
from there. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
That's such
Yeah.
a good
I
technique.
learned that I learned that through parenthood, honestly, because like I said before, I was a super angry kid, and I just felt like no one understood me, like no one could understand like why I was like this. And then when I had my own kid, I was like, I got you. I know you. You are whole mini me. Like I'm gonna be here for you through this.
Exactly.
And um
That's beautiful.
and so like with my son I also try to practice like affirmations. Like you shouldn't care about what I think of you, if I approve of you, if I'm proud of you. You're the
100%.
one who needs to be proud of yourself.
Yes.
You're the one who needs to um honor yourself and value yourself. um
100%.
yeah.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I'm saying thank you, Lord, for this. These unconscious people that are coming in now that are birthing humans. You know what I mean? Like, we can't be doing the same thing
Yes,
over and over. Our parents gave birth to us, then, doing a brilliant job, but also the lack of understanding of self because of
yes,
conditioning and because of not being connected to source or whatever it was, or even like identifying traumas. And now here we are
yeah,
doing the work, working through these generational
yes,
curses, cycles, like you were saying,
yes,
and giving rise to a new, um,
yes.
cycle or a
N-
new,
I love it. It's
yes,
so powerful. Like I wish people knew how powerful it is to bring
wow,
humans into this world. Like you
wow,
can shape them into anything you want them to be.
wow.
Like I know firsthand, it's so powerful, and I wish people were more intentional with their
Exactly,
kids and
Robin.
what they're creating.
And you know what? It's about knowing yourself first before, obviously I mean, at the age of 18, you were young, whatever. But when you say to yourself, I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to be the best me for you, then you automatically,
Yes,
find yourself in that. Like, don't live
yes,
unconsciously, people. Let's live with intention, like Robin is saying. Let's give with intention.
yes.
Yeah,
And create conscious beings.
yes.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful
Ah,
thing.
but anyway,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time, Robin. We have one more minute left,
Thank you.
and I hope
You're
that you have
such a great interviewee. Next time the tables are turning, just know.
great, great to hear. Okay, then, girls.
Yes.
Have a good day.
You too. Thank
And
you
bye
so
to
much for
everyone
this.
else for listening.
Yes, goodbye. Definitely check us out on YouTube, IWX Africa, as well as Westside with Wanderlust.
Yes.
Um, we're always creating content on Instagram. YouTube is a bit, it's a lot, guys.
Yeah, it is.
So bear with us.
And IYX Radio on SoundCloud. Yeah,
And IWX Radio on SoundCloud. You guys have some gems.
definitely.
Like, whoa, whoa.
There's more to
Some
come. There's
powerful
more to
stuff.
come. But thank you
Yes.
again, Robin, and I hope that you have a good day, my love.
Thank you. I hope you have an amazing day too.
Okay,